It doesn't have a good mouth feel. You know what I mean?
Gotta have a good mouthfeel.
I bet Ningguang has a good mouth feel.
Yeah, she does.
God, fuck you. So, welcome everybody to the next podcast.
To our podcast thingy-majig. Hopefully a bit more structured this time.
Yes, perhaps. But I do feel like podcasts by nature are like slightly less, formulaic and structured.
Yeah, for sure. It's about that organic conversation.
Yeah. And I don't
organic, free-range, grass-fed conversation.
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm so much slower than your Zhongli is Xiao.
You're so short.
Uh...
I mean, I'm just sitting here like, yes, free range. I don't even know what that means, frankly. I know there's like actual FDA standards on what that means, but I feel like people take advantage of that.
Oh, they do, because free range doesn't necessarily mean shit. It basically means that they get access to a very small amount of outdoor land every single day. But like the amount is like it's like 1 or 2 square foot per chicken or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not the same. Like there are specific keywords that are FDA regulated that mean more, like pastured for chicken related things. Pastured means more because it's a much larger amount of space that they have to be had for it. And like grass fed means a lot for like cow related things. Because most cows are fed a much cheaper, lower nutritious diet of low quality grains.
Right.
And so that's why the beef has low nutritional value, the milk and butter has low nutritional value and all that stuff. But there are specific keywords, and the same thing with organic. Organic doesn't necessarily mean that good, but it's probably still better than cheap factory produced shit.
Yeah.
But it's not like the end all. It's not like an end all be all thing.
I see.
Not to mention,
how much nutrition does grass have itself? I mean,
a lot. The difference is that like it provides the nutrients that cows need in order to create micronutrients in themselves.
I see.
Because like the thing is like people talk about how corn has no nutritional value.
Well, I mean it does, but yeah.
It does, but the really, really cheap shit barely does.
Oh, okay.
Like the really, really cheap shit's basically empty calories.
Look, I'm from Nebraska. I mean,
yeah, you're from Nebraska, so y'all got like real corn.
I got real corn.
Yeah, but most corn is like super cheap, mass-produced, low nutrition shit. And so that's what most normal cows get fed. And because of that, it's like if a human being ate McDonald's all the time, you wouldn't expect them to have a lot of nutrients in their body if someone were to eat said human.
I haven't been to McDonald's in a while just because there's this really nice burger place literally next to McDonald's. I mean, it costs a little bit more, but I mean,
well, yeah,
it's better.
I mean, it should cost more than McDonald's. I hope it does. Unless of course it's cookout. McDonald's prices, but char-broiled fucking burgers.
God damn it, I won't cook out again, dude.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so we took some notes on the first podcast. I was reading through the comments and stuff.
Well, Tuna took some notes. I've been working and training, but
yeah, I took some notes. And more constructed was requested. We were kind of rambly, and it did show.
Makes sense.
So I actually made a list this time. Now, I'm not sure if this list is enough for an entire podcast. Obviously, like I said earlier, it wants to be kind of an organic style conversation. So I'm mostly going to use this list to fill in topics if there's dead air. But if it's still like, hey, this is still a little jumbly, maybe we can focus more on the list and then fill it in with free-range topics as opposed to the other way around. Now, a lot of people said they liked the music, but a couple people did say, hey, could you have no music so that way I can listen to my own music in the background? And I guess we'll try that. It will help with DMCAs and potential issues because we did have
we had a little copyright claim issue last time.
Yeah, if you want to speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, basically, it's weird too because YouTube has automatic copyright claim bots.
Yeah.
And even though we were basically playing the entire like Nier Automata soundtrack, I need a heal if you got one, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you. But even though we were playing like the entire Nier Automata playlists, there was a specific 35 seconds the bot picked up and decided to copyright claim on.
Yeah. On a song.
And when a
that
copyright
plays
claim, in game. And the problem with those things is that you can like try to contest it, but it's a pain in the ass to contest it. It was just easier to cut out that 30 seconds from the clip.
Yeah.
And like it's a pain to contest those things, especially because they're automatically flagged. And it's just easier to not have to worry about it, because basically if you get a copyright claim, a percentage of all the money you get from a video goes to the copyright claimer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like there are exceptions for things like if you're doing cover music. There's a specific exception if you're doing a cover music thing where you can override copyright claims, but we weren't doing an acapella cover of it, so you know.
We should. Everybody can hear how well you sing.
Yes, everyone can hear my beautiful singing voice. That is nothing wrong with it at all.
Is he here? There he is. And it ended early.
Look at that sick dodge.
I know, dude. It's just it's insane, dude. It's just
crazy.
Inhuman reaction.
MLG, fucking MLG motherfucker over here.
Alright, up.
Get signed up with C9.
Hey, Jimbo, thank you for that 7-month sub. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
I forgot.
Thanks,
I have
Jimbo.
SpongeBob notifications on. I wonder if that will become an issue.
Probably not.
Let's hope not. We don't want to pay.
And also, like, as I understand, as I understand with copyright claims, and this is as I understand, I don't know if this is actually accurate, but because under 30 seconds is fair use, I'm pretty sure copyright claim bots don't pick up if it's under 30 seconds.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They shouldn't, at least, because that is designated fair use.
Oh, okay.
Is those kinds of lengths of clips, so should be fine.
Okay. But yeah, so no music. If it becomes too unbearable, I do have my game chops and QEMU,
right.
which are, they have said that they are totally fine with using stuff. So as long as you link them and do that, that's good. It's all good.
Makes sense.
Speaking
just
on the subject of copyright claims.
Yeah.
This is kind of something that's like a little slightly off topic. But thing I found out that people are doing, are specifically cops are doing, if you record them, they are playing copyright music the cops are playing copyright music while you're trying to record them, so that you can't put it up on YouTube. And it is the most scummy thing. Yes.
That is awful and hilarious. What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. I fucking read this. read about this shit. The guy even admits it. Like, he's like, record me all you want, but you can't put it on YouTube. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah,
so
the cop.
That's
0 hour.
That's also not. I mean, unless they're trying to fucking monetize a video about police brutality, I think they'll be fine, but that's hilarious.
Yeah. So 0 hour knows about it too. It's a cop. He started playing Blank Space. It's Taylor Swift's Blank Space while he was being recorded on his phone. And he's just like, record me all you want, but you can't put it on YouTube. That's the most disgusting, underhanded bullshit I've ever seen.
Not to mention not effective.
Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, what, are you fucking copyright? Okay, yeah, well, just don't have monetization.
I'm not going to make money on this video I'm posting about police brutality. Yay.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus fuck, that's hilarious and awful.
Yeah, so fucking, it's so fucked up. It's funny, but just Jesus.
So I was checking my email. So I actually started checking my email again more regularly because work stuff.
Yeah.
And I found out that just this morning, remember that fucking artifact farming guide from like months ago?
Yeah.
It just got a copyright claim for the music in the background.
Oh, what music?
It is open source music, but it's classical music.
Yeah.
And one of the risks with classical music is that the music itself is open source and recordings can be open source, but the recordings can sound the same as non-open source recordings.
Yeah.
And so bots can flag it automatically. It's only happened to us twice, so I don't really worry about it too much.
Yeah.
Because it's from Muse Open, which is a collective that basically uses donations and like subscription money to pay performers to make copyright-free versions of classical music.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not stressing about it. That video's gonna get, like, another 100 views in its entire lifetime or something. But, like, yeah, it took that long. It just got copyright flagged today.
Jesus.
Yep.
I mean, dude, like, copyright laws are a whole thing in, like, Twitch
and, like,
YouTube. We're just...
The biggest issue, too, is that, like, you know, with, like, I was mentioning the whole, like, you know, I think it's under 30 seconds is fair use or something like that. It's 30 or 45 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's fair use. The problem with, like, fair use claims is that the only place you can really contest it, as I understand, is in court.
Yeah.
Oh, if you have a heal, I probably need one. I got hit a lot.
Yeah, right here.
Thank you. But yeah, like, the problem is that the only place you can really contest them is in court. So, like that's what happened with, like, I think it was Damone Kim, like, copyright claimed this guy, or copyright strike this guy who was, who made, like, a critical video of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made, like, a critical video of him, so he basically, like, destroyed the video, and the guy had a really tiny channel, so basically killed his channel.
Oof.
And like everything he did in there was fair use, because it was a video criticizing him, right? He was constantly using clips from him. But the thing is, the only way he could possibly contest that would be to take it to court.
Oof.
So yeah. It's yet another reason why I never want to have, like, drama YouTube stuff, because that kind of stuff can get messy. Especially when you're tangling with bigger content creators who have more pull and are more likely to be listened to by YouTube moderation and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now, it's possible there is some sort of system in place for, like, contesting copyright claims and copyright strikes that I'm not aware of, but I was looking over YouTube's rules and regulations about it, and from what I could read, the only way to contest it would be in court.
Are YouTube's rules more consistent and clear than Twitch's?
I am not certain. All I know is that from what I've heard from people who are on both platforms, YouTube is more consistent about it.
Yeah.
If you break the rules, they punish you. They don't really give a fuck who you are.
Yeah, the rules, I believe this happened since we've been done a thing. Fucking two of the biggest streamers on the platform two of the biggest streamers on the just chatting side of the Twitch got banned.
Yeah, the whole yoga pants moaning into a mic peeps.
Yeah. Yeah, they got banned. I'm sure they're still back, and they'll probably try to find whatever next slightly rule bending thing they can do, but
yeah,
it was ooh, yeah, they were farting in the microphone and stuff. It was
lol.
It was
Wait, they were farting into the microphone?
Yeah, they were like farting into the microphone for subs. They were in like just yoga pants. You know, they were
wow.
And they were it got really weird for a minute. Like, they would put on, one of them was like putting on a horse head mask, and you could like pay her to neigh into the mic. And it was
interesting.
I don't know.
Wow. Okay, interesting.
Oh, see. Okay, so Amaranth is back, but Indie Fox got stripped of partner. Oh. Did Indie Fox do anything worse than Amaranth, or is this just favoritism towards Amaranth? But I couldn't tell you. I've never watched either of them.
Yeah, I'm only aware of them because you told me about them a while back.
Yeah. But
L-O and furthermore L.
Big L. Big L.
But yeah, from what I understand, YouTube's pretty consistent with enforcing its shit. Hell, even like Jake Paul got fucking his monetization taken away for dumb shit.
Yeah.
And like that's a big deal because like he pulls in like several million a year for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but back on to the opening list that I still have not made our way through.
Lol, I mean that's fine. We talking about interesting stuff.
Yeah.
No dead air, no dead air.
I did want to say, I mean, this is a perfect example, kind of what.
Oh god, what the fuck?
What? What?
I
What?
toadstooled off your head.
Whoa!
Okay, that was weird.
Boing.
Yeah, like the little bump. I like think I landed on your head right as you landed your plunge attack, and you bumped up because it just yeeted me like an extra 5 feet into the air.
Oh jeez. That'd have been
Weird.
You should totally pull that and then like put it into the video. It's like
Yeah, let me save that.
But
Fuck, which one is it again?
this
F9?
is not necessarily. I know there were a couple of comments about how it wasn't a Genshin podcast. Like this will not necessarily be a Genshin podcast. There will be a lot of Genshin in it, obviously, since we're playing it, and
we will discuss some stuff. But
yeah. But like this is not just gonna be a Genshin podcast. So
yeah, I think we should probably at the very bare minimum figure out a Genshin topic to talk about a bit, so that can be like the title of the video.
yeah.
Like in this one, it could be like
It'll be Kazuha and EM,
Kazuha and EM buffs.
Yeah.
Like Kazuha first impressions and EM buffs.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
But yeah, this is, as Tuna said, this is not going to be a Genshin exclusive podcast. We'll just talk about Genshin and other stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to hang out with my friend. I haven't talked to you in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I do want to. That does remind me. I do want to apologize that this one's coming out so much later than the other ones. We both kind of dropped the ball and it made it push it back a little bit further.
Back to back.
Yeah.
Well, on top of that, for the 2 weeks I was training, I just didn't really have the time to put towards this.
Right. Yeah.
Because like now that I'm out of training, it's whatever. I've got time during the days. Like we can do it early morning, like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Because I have work in 2.5 hours, but that's enough time.
Yeah.
But because I was training, I had to be studying basically all of my free time, so I just didn't have any time during the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I showed that off on the stream a couple of times. It was like I want a job where I can just work and then come home and not think about work anymore. Also, Jinx, I'm too busy to do stuff because I have to study this menu.
LO for the more L. I aced all of my menu tests though, so it worked out.
Nice. Speaking of other jobs, I debated chat yesterday.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, guys. Because my stream title was we need to talk. Let's talk.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, oh yeah. I went through like hours. I didn't say anything. I was just like doing normal stream. Like, dude, why does your stream title say "Let's talk"? It makes me feel like my dad's like wants to sit down and
lol.
And I was like, that's because today's my last stream, guys. Yeah. It's just not working out. Or just we haven't hit rent goal in a few months, and I was looking back into working at FedEx. And I was saying this all with like a straight face, like no, it was just like I can't afford it anymore, and blah, blah, blah. And then I was playing Hu Tao at the time, because for the domain, the challenge thing, and I reached over and I clicked a YouTube video, and it just went ta 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 ta. You just got pranked.
You've been pranked. Yeah, I still have that clip saved. It's forever gonna stay on my hard drive. That was mean of you.
Yeah, it was.
Lol.
The ruse only went on for like 30 seconds though, so
cool.
It wasn't like I waited 5
out.
minutes and like dragged. Comedy timing is important. If I went too much longer, it would have been mean.
Remember, comedy comes in threes.
My love of basket weaving, my tentative plans to purchase a hat, and my improv comedy classes.
And 3 years of improv workshops. Comedy comes in threes. The new Rick and Morty is really good.
Yeah, I actually have a segment for that.
Yep. Well, I guess maybe now we should talk Genshin stuff.
Yeah.
So people who are here for the Genshin stuff
can
at least...
Couple things I had before that. Okay, so clearly noted for the future. Noted for the future, like the intro thing I had planned, not gonna work. It's too organic. Free range.
Too free range. We have
just
so
wanted to
many
say-
square feet.
I wanted to say, like, Zaxton Hong was an MVP in the last video. Really do appreciate you, man. He actually went through the entire video and timestamped everything.
Yeah, I saw that. Really appreciate that.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
so hopefully...
Because I ain't fucking doing
Yeah,
that
I was
shit.
gonna say I ain't gonna do it either. So hopefully this slightly more structured way of doing things is easier for whoever decides that they want to do it. You will
Yep.
get a shout out in the next podcast if you do it again. So appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And it
thank
really did
you.
well. It's really done kind of well. I mean, I wasn't expecting, 17Ks, obviously not like sustainable.
It's also a longer video, and it's
Right,
the
it's-
first time, and
right.
I feel like this one will be a bit more attractive because we have like specific Genshin topics we're gonna talk about that are gonna be in the
Right.
title.
Right.
First one was just like, let's fucking try this shit out.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, at the end of the day, this is like what, a fucking 4 hour, including encoding and editing commitment for me. Whatever.
Yeah. And it's not even something that you have to do. I mean, like, this is easily. I mean, I could easily do this.
Yeah.
Literally just take it out, cut it, and throw it up.
Pretty much.
But I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you very much for the first one, and to do like a Ryozo style Monster Hunter, style thing where it's like, congratulations on the launch of our first podcast.
Yeah.
where they do that monotone is like, Minasan. It's just this like fucking. But yeah, no, thank you very much. But I did want to firstly talk about, because I think it's important, because it's you. Please tell us how your new work is going.
Oh, it's going really well. It's a really good team of people. It's more casual than I'm used to, but that's fine because they're so busy. Every day is Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So roughly, they do a tip pool right now. That might change in the future, but currently they do a tip pool, and tip pool's roughly around 30 an hour, which is pretty good.
Okay, so tip pool is when everybody pools the tips together.
Everyone pools the tips, and basically the share of tips you get is based on how many hours you worked.
Okay, and does that mean that everybody working gets a tip, right? So even the chefs do?
No. It's actually illegal in America for back of house to get tip share from front of house.
Really? What?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not allowed.
I did not know.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, you are allowed to, what's it? Oh my god, my N1C muscle memory is so bad for Zhao right now. Alright, there we go.
Here's a heal for you just in case you need it.
Lol, thanks. But yeah, what's it? Yeah, you're not allowed to tip share. There are some rare exceptions where someone can be both front and back of house. Like, I knew a guy who worked at the Brazilian steakhouse.
Uh-huh.
And the guys who bring the swords of meat around are technically all cooks, but they also are front of house, so they can get tip share.
Okay. Weird.
But yeah, no, back of house isn't allowed to get front of house tip share.
But can you still like tip the back of the house if you want? Like,
I don't think. Technically, that'd probably be fine because it'd probably just be like under the books sort of thing.
yeah.
But I don't think a manager would ever do that due to potential risks.
Well, I mean, like, what if I want to be like, hey, man, that steak was really good.
Just buy him a round of beer.
Buy him a cure. Oh, okay. Oh, that.
Yeah,
I've seen that menu option
Yeah.
before. It's like buy the chef a beer.
Yeah, buy the chef a beer. That's what, like, that. I've seen that happen before at places where someone will just be like, "Can I just buy a round of beer for the kitchen?"
Yeah.
And they'll have beers after the shifts, and they'll appreciate it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Nice.
Pretty
You
much.
always try to learn a little bit of restaurant etiquette, and I learned
yeah,
a lot
definitely.
from you about like restaurant etiquette
Yeah.
and shit. But
But yeah, it's good. Money's pretty good. 30 an hour is definitely not shabby.
more than you ever made at fucking YouTube work.
Other than like 3 or 4 really good months we had, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not the same as my consulting money, but it's still good money.
God,
And it's stable and not killing me. Like
there was
consulting money
a comment, like, I can't stress, like, when you said you want to go back to food work, I think a lot of people thought that you meant like you wanted to go to McDonald's, because there were a lot of comments that were like, oh, that's not, oh yeah, sure, go ahead and leave fucking dream job for like fucking McDonald's. Like, that, you are not going to McDonald's. You're going to a very nice restaurant where they pay you.
I'm a fine dining career server. Like, 30 an hour is like 30 an hour is like like average for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which has also been part of the problem with like me, like the idea of me going back to school, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, if I were to go back to school for something, it's like, would I even be getting a pay upgrade out of it?
Yeah.
Because a lot of jobs out of a bachelor's
Migo.
aren't paying you 30 an hour. And like I said, 30 an hour is like average. I've made twice that before in consulting work.
Yeah. Yeah, not at all. Hey man, what's up, dude?
But yeah.
No, and that's kind of what I was talking about. It's like when it's like, oh yeah, I want to go back to FedEx. And they're like, oh, you want to do, would you rather leave this to go to FedEx? Like, do you know how much money I made at FedEx?
Lol. Yep.
Like, do you know how well manual labor pays?
Yep.
Do you know how much money I was making as a manager?
Yep. Yep, pretty much. So, like, yeah, it's been nice, though. The team's really good. The ownership and management seem to really care about the employees, which is very important.
Yes, very important.
Yeah, they are a mask-optional restaurant now, but so is everywhere in Atlanta, so I can't really expect any different.
They're a what now?
They're a mask-optional restaurant, but so is every place in Atlanta, so, I mean, I still wear my mask. And my parents were going to TC, and there is a potential new wave coming, so I'm taking precautions.
Yeah,
but...
I'm still wearing my shit.
Yep.
I'm still wearing my shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's whatever, dude. I don't even mind. It's funny.
I don't mind at all either. Oh god.
Fucking. Well, it's like God. Imagine all these people as a kid. They were like, dude, ninjas are sick, dude. Dude, walk around with like the hoodie up and the mask on, like the bandana over your face, and walking around looking like a fucking ninja, all that Japanese style inspired styling, like the fucking
I mean, even like ninja
shit
aside, like masks are just a thing in Japan because they don't want to get sick.
Well, no. I'm talking like I'm talking about the there's a specific style of clothing that I can't remember in Japan where it's basically like belts and zippers and masks and shit. And like I was all about that as a kid. So I'm sitting here like, dude, I finally get to live out my man. I can go into a store with a mask on and nobody cares. It's like I'm gonna keep doing this as long as I can, dude. I look like
That's great.
I'm a motherfucking ninja, dude. I don't even give a shit.
I'm a motherfucking ninja. But yeah. Overall, it's a very good job so far. I could probably be here for a while.
That's what it's called.
Techwear, yeah. As long as the money stays good. They are incredibly busy right now, but I know a big part of that too is the fact that people are like so happy to finally be able to go out to restaurants again.
Yeah.
So like, but as long as the money is good, I'll be happy here for a while. And Jenny is going back to school in the fall.
Yeah.
She's pursuing a master's in clinical mental health counseling. Basically, she's gonna be a therapist.
Nice.
So chances are it's gonna be better for her to not work part-time while going to school full-time.
Right.
So I'll be supporting us during that. And like I said, as long as the money's good here, I'm happy with it.
Nice.
Good. But yeah, it's a good job. It's more casual than I'm used to, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It makes the work a little less stressful overall.
Speaking of
and the money is still good despite that. So
speaking of tips, I did have a question for you. Tipping drive-through. How do you feel about that?
It's nice to do it, but it's optional.
Because I mean, you and I have talked is like pretty much going out to eat. Tipping is mandatory, in your opinion.
Yeah, no. If you
plan to tip.
If you can't afford the tip, you can't afford to go out to eat.
Which is a bold statement, but it does make sense as somebody who's worked in the restaurant industry.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you don't want to tip, go eat somewhere that you don't have to tip.
Right.
Or order fucking takeouts.
Right.
Like, you should still tip on carryout, but you don't have to.
Right.
Because, like, the problem that people don't realize if they haven't worked in the industry is that if you don't tip your server, they just paid money to take care of you.
Right.
Because they have to tip out a percentage of their sales to their support staff, their bartenders and their server assistants, the bussers and food runners and shit.
Right.
So, like, at a typical restaurant, that's gonna be about 3 to 4% of total sales roughly being tipped out. Okay. So if you have $100 check and you don't tip someone, they just have to spend $3. They lost $3 taking care of you.
I see.
Because that still gets deducted regardless of whether you tip them or not.
Okay.
So like, yeah, if you go out to eat, I mean, some places might do it differently, but every place I've ever worked at, and ever heard about tips on total sales, not on a percentage of how much you got on tips.
You want whey?
Sure, why not?
Wow.
Give me cabbages.
My cabbages.
But yeah, more my cabbages. But yeah, so like that's an important thing people need to realize is if you don't tip, like for that hour or whatever that server's taking care of you for, they just have to pay to do that. So I don't care how bad your service was. At the very least, leave them like $5 or something.
Yeah.
Unless they were like just flagrantly they were awful and gave zero shits about you or something.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, like most servers are trying to do their best anyway, and they can't control everything. If your food came out late, that's probably not their fault, you know?
Yeah, and that's actually something that I don't, I've had where the food was kind of bad, and where I was like, the food bad, it was so cold. It's like, but that's not the server's fault, dude. Like, I'm sure the server isn't just sitting there like, that food's been sitting on the counter for 20 minutes.
Let's wait a bit longer.
Like they're like,
don't get me wrong, it's possible to have mistakes. It's possible they could have put the order in late, but it's much less likely that they made a mistake than just the kitchen's fucking up.
Yeah.
Much less likely chance.
Yeah.
Okay.
My uncle used to do something like a real dick. He would tip them 1 cent. So it's like you knew. So he sends the message that like, I didn't forget to tip. You were just shit.
Lol. I have seen that happen once. Not to me, but to someone when I was a floor captain. I have seen that happen to someone else once, where they left a 1 cent tip so that they know that they didn't want the tip, and that is such a huge dick move. And not huge dick as in you got a huge dick. Huge dick as in you don't got a huge dick, so you gotta act like you do.
Well, my uncle is definitely not somebody I would say is very secure.
Yeah, I can see that.
But either way, but good though. I'm glad to hear you got a work that you enjoy. I mean, honestly, I could honestly do an entire podcast where I just want to listen to you talk about your job and that you're doing good and shit. But,
restaurant industry stuff, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a passion you have, and it's I've always
it's
enjoyed listening to people's passions.
Restaurant work has always been one of those things where like I'm good at it. It pays bills well. I enjoy it fine. It's just I always get bored. Yeah. And like one of the nice things about that digital detox I took is that I got more comfortable with being bored because like I have really bad ADHD, and one thing with people who have really bad ADHD is that boredom is like our brain screaming at us to go do something not boring. Yeah. Like
I imagine boredom for ADHD has to be somewhere similar to like people's smoking withdrawals, where it's like your brain is screaming at you to do something that you're not currently doing.
Yeah, basically, because ADHD is a dopamine deficiency, so when you're not getting that dopamine, your brain's like, where the fuck is my dopamine? Right. Give it to me.
Red Cherry, thank you for the sub, dude. Thank you.
Where the fuck is my dopamine? So yeah, but I've been getting more okay with that. Good. And like at the end of the day right now, like my priorities have changed, you know? Yeah. Like I have a lot of restaurant experience at a lot of different restaurants because I would go to new restaurants because I'd get the opportunity to learn something new. Like I was working at the Optimist where I got my first really good server training because they're a nationally ranked restaurant with a really good training program. After that, after like 9 months there, I ended up going over to an award-winning wine restaurant to learn more about wine. Then I ended up going to a French restaurant like 8 months later. To learn about French food and whatnot, and like any of those jobs, I could have stayed there for years, but I wanted to learn new shit because it was more interesting. Right. I could develop my skills more. But now I'm married, and Jenny's going back to school, and I just want to be comfy and pay my fucking bills, so I don't really need to go to the next new place to learn a new cool thing, you know?
Love and marriage, love and marriage, go together like a horse and carriage. That might be a little old reference. That actually might
be. That might be a little.
That might be a little old.
I recognize it, but I don't even remember where it's from.
It's from Love and Marriage, or Married with Children. Sorry. It was a fucking sitcom. It was. I don't know. I always liked that one.
Yeah. Okay, we're about to do the first Storm Terror's lair, so we should probably talk some Genshin stuff now.
Right. Yeah. So.
LOL.
Kazuha. My opinion that I came to on first day was basically, Kazuha, great for Zhao team. Basically replaces Sucrose. Need a sack sword, but you basically get Sucrose level energy-ish, but you get a massive damage increase. So, yay. All fun around.
Yeah.
And then
massive is
more damage than
you
Sucrose.
get a damage increase.
Yeah. More damage than Sucrose.
You get a damage increase. The only thing about it though is that he does have more field time compared to her.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing about him is like he deals more damage than Sucrose for Zhao specifically, but you have to commit more field time to do a double charge.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily a problem because you're trying to rebat Zhao anyway, but it is a thing to consider.
Yeah.
It's like when we'll be looking at Zhao versus Venti, not Zhao versus Venti, sorry, Venti versus Kazuha. Kazuha's E does more damage than Venti's, but it takes more field time, so it's not necessarily a damage increase, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that extra second or two you're spending on Kazuha versus Venti could be used on your carry instead. But like I said, less of a problem for Zhao anyway because you're rebatting his ult anyway.
Right.
And even with hit lag extension on his ult, you still have some time period where you can afford to not be on Zhao. His ult's not up yet. But yeah, better than Sucrose. It's one of those things where I'm like, is it better enough that it's worth pulling for? I don't know.
Yeah, probably not. Especially because you can use Sucrose with like thrilling tails and shit, but
exactly, that's the big thing is Sucrose gets thrilling tails. In fact, I think using him with Zhao might be one of his weaker use cases because you can't use thrilling tails like you can with Sucrose.
No, but you can use the sword, the EM sword on him, so you can give him EM and attack.
Yeah, and Zhao gets a little more swirl damage.
Yes, he gets a little more swirl damage, and he gets I think it's like what 20% attack for the team or 12%. I think it's something like that, but.
Oh, which one?
The new sword, doesn't it like share attack?
The new sword? Oh, the leaked one? I don't know. I haven't.
No, not the leaked one. The one
Which
that came
one?
out. I didn't even look at it. I know it's an EM sword, and I thought it shared attack.
You mean Iron Sting?
No, the new 5-star sword.
Oh, is there a new 5-star sword?
Yeah, there's a new 5-star.
I did not even pay attention to the weapon banner. I generally don't. So
yeah,
I forgot there was a new 5-star weapon banner. Holy shit. LOL.
Yeah, it gives 20% attack.
I'll take your word for it.
Go get a 5-star sword, forehead.
I'll go take your word for it. Although that being said, that is probably one of the few situations where you can run that sword on him. Because Kazuha normally needs the sack sword to fund his ult.
Yeah.
He needs a sack sword to fund his ult, but if you're running double Anemo, he should be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that's a thing. New weapon. Yeah.
Yes,
right. That's
totally in the loop here. Okay.
Totally hearing what you're putting down here. Yep. Totally.
And then other than that, I was just.
Go
Sucrose is just better for reactions until Kazuha gets C2, in which point he mostly covers anything that Sucrose can get. Because 200 EM is...
Calculations have put Kazuha slightly ahead of Sucrose in reaction teams. However, that's only if you can pull off his double swirling techs.
Okay.
Oh shit. Just take those ones I teleported away. It'll take a while for me. Actually, fuck it, I'll run over there.
Yeah, we'll wait. It's okay.
Yeah. But basically when you look at Kazuha versus Sucrose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kazuha's base damage is a little bit better, but Sucrose gets thrilling tails of the Dragon Slayer, so whatever.
Yeah.
They swirl about the same amount as each other for the most part, so they're both running full EM, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like their swirl output's probably pretty similar. So really the main differentiator between them is the type of buffs they give the team.
Right.
Sucrose gives EM sharing for your team, obviously, and then Kazuha gives, instead through his A4, he gives a total damage percentage bonus.
Right.
on the vein of 20 to 30%, depending on how good your EM subs are, basically.
Right. And also just a better like swirling double swirl, right?
Well, so the reason that the double swirl tech is important for him is because with Kazuha, you can swirl both. You can swirl, like, let's say you have like a vape team, right?
Right.
Let's just take Ganyu Melt, because Ganyu Melt seems to be like his like best use case right now.
Right.
So for Ganyu Melt, your first hit from Kazuha can swirl cryo, while the second hit on his E or his ult, either one. First hit can swirl cryo, second hit can swirl pyro.
Nice.
And then infuse with pyro. So that means you get a damage bonus on both characters. And that's one of the advantages he has over Sucrose. The only way Sucrose can do that is that if there's two targets and you apply them separate, and you apply a separate aura on each of them and swirl them into each other. Which is very it's just situational to use. What's up, Boo? Thanks, Boo. Okay, appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, Jay just let me know laundry's done.
Nice.
But yeah, so Kazuha, basically the reason this works is because Kazuha has a very unique way that his abilities infuse.
Yeah.
You know how like Venti and Sucrose, they have to like, their ability has to like swirl an element and then they'll infuse their ult with that element. Right. How Kazuha's second hit on his ult or his E works is that if you have an element on yourself,
right,
like a pyro buff from, like, for example, a pyro buff from Bennett ults, then that will be able to be infused into your ult or your E second hit.
Right. So
if
that's how Jean and Anemo work, I think.
Yeah, except for Jean, like Jean doesn't infuse her ult, but she does swirl the element.
Oh, I mean from E's, not the.
Yeah, from E's. Yeah. So like because of that, if you do the correct setups, like on the Ganyu Melt team, you like use Ganyu's E, apply cryo to something. Actually, it might be easy if you just pull up that clip I sent you, so people can just see what we're talking about. But basically, you can apply cryo, and then generally the tech is to miss a Bennett ult intentionally. So you completely whiff a Bennett ult, so you don't apply pyro to anything. And then Kazuha's first attack on his E will swirl the cryo, while the plunge will infuse with pyro. And then basically you get both swirls off, so you get A4 on both elements. So you can see that he swirls cryo on both of them, and then pyro on both of them, and then he has a pyro infused ult, so that Ganyu can melt off of it. And Ganyu gets that like probably about 25% cryo damage bonus from his A4 as well. That's why she's hitting, you know, big number. So in these kinds of situations where you can get both, to work,
right?
He is better than Sucrose at C0.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's pretty sick text.
Yeah, you see that like. Let's try to walk through it one time. So shield for Shred, I'm sure. She places the cryo flower so that they get cryoed. Places the Bennett so that Kazuha becomes pyro infused and then just swirls both.
Yeah, you can see that his tap E, the first hit swirls cryo, but the second one's infused with pyro because he has pyro on him.
Yeah.
I think they tested it, and the precedence. So like the thing is, like, if the precedence goes, I think pyro is going to infuse over cryo over hydro over electro, I think is the order, something like that.
Yeah.
So like, for example, if a target had like, if you had like a target, I think if you had like a target with pyro or something, and you instead had like a Barbara hydro E on yourself to wet yourself, you would still infuse a pyro because it takes precedence. I think is how that works. I've only mostly been reading like Kaching Main's TC stuff. I haven't been doing it. I haven't really been discussing much with them, so I might be off on that. But and then like you could do similar setups with vape teams. Like if you check the very last one I sent you. That one's showing how you can do it for like a Hu Tao vape team if you have a Bennett on there. If you want to take a look at that clip.
And shout out to Artisans for that first clip. I don't know who did the second one.
Oh yeah, that one's Artisans. I think the next clip is artisans. But yeah, so we're hydro infusing his ult, but then swirling pyro off of the Bennett ult so that Hu Tao gets the bonus as well. And then you just do vape Hu Tao things. I still don't. The question is for like the the vape one is like how much better is this than just like using Sucrose?
Right.
Because like it's better, but is it better enough to justify a 5-star pull? I'm not really sold on that.
Right.
The Ganyu Melt one, based on the calcs I was looking at last night that they posted, compared to like running Xiangling instead for a more normal style Ganyu Melt.
Right.
Over a 20-second rotation, I believe it was calculated out for Team DPS calc to be 6% better to use Kazuha, but over a 30-second duration, it's 30% better. Because in 30 seconds, Kazuha gets 2 ults and Xiangling only gets 1. So it kind of just depends on how many rotations it takes. There's also just the reality that like my Ganyu and like Artisan's Ganyu is an example, like we only need 1 rotation to clear stuff anyway. So like, does it really matter that Kazuha's a little bit better than Xiangling for this? If
eventually there will be harder content
rotation anyway.
Jinx, come on.
I know. I'm just saying. Is it really necessary for Ganyu to do an extra 6% more damage?
Hey, 6% damage on 100,000 to 200,000.
I mean, fair, but yeah.
It's not like we're talking about 6% more damage on 100. It's 100,000.
So like right now, a thing to understand too is that like people are testing a lot of rotation because Kazuha has this unique double swirl mechanic, right? Where you can swirl 2 elements. It leads to a lot of really interesting rotation potentials, but it doesn't necessarily mean these are super strong, right? Like the Ganyu Melt thing, like I said, over the course of just 1 single rotation, we're looking at like maybe a 6, maybe 10% or something damage increase, right?
Yeah.
So it looks really cool, but is it much better? Shrug. Not sure. But like for example, another one you can look at is let me see. I didn't send you this one. One sec. There is a reverse melt setup, I think. Or did they not save that one? Yeah, reverse melt quick swap. I have to download this one. One sec.
While you're downloading it, if you want to run over.
Yeah, because this one's a downloaded video. Okay, one sec. Upload file, downloads. Yeah, I forgot to send you this one. This one is like looking at Kazuha for and the file's too big. How is the file too big? I downloaded it from Discord. Fucking A. Are you in Kaching mains?
No.
Shit.
Maybe?
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Am I still in there, or did I leave after?
Yeah, this will be easier. I'm just gonna share screen with you.
Okay. Oh, I am in Kaching Mason, by the way.
Either way, this will just be easier. I'll just share screen with you.
Oh, who's that streamer you're watching?
Right?
Wait, light mode? Ew.
Yeah, I never changed it off light mode. Bite me. Kaching mains.
Wow. Hold on. Wait. So Jinx is following Willis Gaming, but not Enviosity.
To be fair, I started following Willis because I participated in a giveaway because I wanted a thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much how Willis gets his crowd. Is he just
yeah,
does giveaways?
Yeah, I was like, might as well try to do this because that was like right when I started doing Discord.
Right.
For the first time. So I was like, might as well try to get this. All right, let me play this for you. So this is like looking at the reverse melt setup with him instead, where you look to you VV both the cryo and the pyro.
Put it in full screen. You are hurting everybody.
It is in full screen. Is it not?
No.
Why is it not on full screen?
I don't know. I don't see
full
screen. No, I don't see full screen.
One sec. Why can't? Oh shit! I'm sorry. How the fuck do I fix this?
When you look into the stream long enough.
My bad. I was not showing my screen. I was showing the wrong window.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see here.
Why does everybody ask what's in the hentai folder?
If you guys
It's
want to look at
hentai,
these to
bro.
study them, they're in Kaching main server under the channel Kazu rotations. Because like I said, people have been having a lot of fun figuring out these different rotations to use Kazu to double swirl both elements on the reaction team, as well as use his ult to set up the reaction team. Like in this case, you're running Kazu instead of Xiangling for a reverse melt quick swap team.
There we go.
It's basically like this is literally the team you run, like you like running the most, but you run Kazuha instead of Xiangling.
No, this is actually the exact team that I wanted to run, Jinx. I was going to replace Xiangling or Xingqiu with Kazuha. This is the exact team I've been talking about wanting to run since.
Yep, you can watch how they execute the double swirls and whatnot to get the pyro infused Kazuha ult, along with swirling cryo and snapshotting everything with Bennett's.
And for those of you who are looking for the Kaching main server, it's literally discord.gg/Kaching.
Yep. And you don't have to. But yeah, you can see like this is reverse melt quick swap, setting up the Kazuha cryo swirls, and then setting up a Bennett ult infused Kazuha ult.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can see on like the very last rotation he does, the first hit of his ult. If I go like right here, yeah, you can see that the first hit of his ult swirls cryo.
Mm-hmm.
But then his ult gets infused with pyro to set up the reverse melts.
Okay. So his ult is based off of whatever element's on him.
It'll still be based off of the other enemy. It'll still infuse. It can if he didn't have Bennett ult up right now, it would infuse cryo. It would infuse cryo instead, yeah.
But it prioritizes what's on you, or is it prioritizing pyro?
It prioritizes pyro.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it prioritizes pyro is how it works. Like I said, I've been scanning over what they've been talking about, so I have to double check that with like artisans or someone. But I believe it prioritizes pyro, and the fact that you can do it off of Bennett's like personal infusion is what's like a big deal, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because like this target doesn't even need to have pyro on him. You'll still infuse with pyro because Kazuha is infused with pyro.
Okay.
And so it's these kinds of use cases where he's able to swirl both of the elements. It's these kinds of cases where he is very, very strong because both of them are getting his damage bonus. And Sucrose could technically do the same thing in this situation, but like you have to have two targets for it to work. Because you would have to basically get one guy cryoed, one guy pyroed, and then Sucrose swirl both of them with an E to get her buff on both characters.
Okay.
Not to mention the buff to pyro wouldn't even help you that much anyway because of other stuff. Interesting thing about the Ganyu melt thing too. I'm not sure if I will be able to find the specific clip for it. Maybe I can. One sec. Where are you? Theory crafting. Where is the theory crafting channel? Trying to remember. There it is. Hey. Okay. Okay. Love you too. Let's see if I can find. I saw a clip last night and I did not save it. But the fun thing is you can do the exact same thing with Xinyan.
Yeah. Okay.
Has file in theory crafting.
But like, why?
Because you want to save Bennett for the other team.
Okay.
So you could do the exact same thing and set up a Ganyu. You can do the exact same thing and set up like a Ganyu melt team with Xinyan instead of Bennett.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually be able to find the clip.
Well, I mean, the idea is basically
the idea is the same, yeah.
Because Xinyan applies pyro to herself with a shield, or the team with a shield, and so.
Yeah, the thing is, you have to be really quick about the swap. Is the only thing.
Right.
me stop sharing with you at this point. But like you have to be very quick with the swap because Xinyan applies Pyro on swap. Unlike, it's not like a constant one. It applies on swap and lingers for a second.
Okay.
So you have to be quick about it. But the point is, yeah, you can do the same thing where you basically pop Xinyan E, miss targets intentionally with it, and then swap to Kazuha and use it to infuse a Pyro infused ult basically. While also your first hit swirls the cryo off a target Ganyu has already tagged with cryo. And so, like, you should just use Bennett, but this means you can save Bennett for the other team if you want to, and run Xinyan, Ganyu, Kazuha, and then, like, either Dong Li or a healer or whatever.
You're just looking for a reason to use Xinyan.
I mean, that's part of it, but, like, they were specifically looking, like, 1010 wanted to look into that specifically because, I guess my world now, but 1010 wanted to look into that because, you know, Bennett's so fucking valuable.
Yeah.
Like, you could run National Team or Bennett or 4TF, like Thundering Fury Bennett or something on your other team and still run Ganyu Melts. Because the thing is, like, that is an interesting use case using Xinyan for a Ganyu Melt team because normally Ganyu Melt has to have Bennett because Xiangling needs Bennett to Thunder.
Right.
But this enables you to not necessarily have to run Bennett for a Ganyu Melt team, which has potential. It's interesting at least. But yeah, so Kazuha in these kinds of situations can be really good. The problem is like you can't for him to be better than Sucrose in this instance, you can't unga bunga him. You have to be like careful about these applications, right?
Right.
You have to be clever about it and make sure you're doing the double swirls so that you can infuse correctly while also buffing the person who is using the infusion to enable. But it's neat. It's neat text. But yeah. So, according to Keck mains and whatnot, like, he's slightly above Sucrose, but the thing is, like, it's not necessarily that much better than... Not necessarily that much better than Sucrose. I mean, it's better than Sucrose, but how much better is it than a 4-star unit, right?
Right.
And I see some people in chat are saying that, Kazuha's power comes from his personal damage. I mean, yes, but it's not necessarily that much higher because you're building in full EM anyway.
Right.
Like, most of his damage output's still coming from his swirls because of you should be building full EM. If you're building him full damage so that his abilities slap a bit harder, then he's losing swirl damage. And the swirl buffs was so huge that's not really worth it. Like, Kazuha swirls about the same amount as Venti does when they do their rotations. And the swirl... Like, the thing is, I don't think people necessarily realize how strong the EM buffs were for swirl. Because the EM buffs are so strong for swirl. Venti's best in slot weapon is stringless now. It's not Skyward Harp anymore. Skyward Harp's arguably the best 5-star weapon in the entire goddamn fucking game. And Venti is better building full EM with a stringless than he is building full damage with a harp now.
Hey,
That's
I mean,
how much
dude,
damage swirls do.
It's good because that means that we can save Skyward Harp for Fischl.
What's that?
We can just use Skyward Harp on Fischl now.
Don't you have math on that, though? Because Kazuha mains Theorycrafting disagree. Do they? Are Kazuha mains saying you should build him damage? Because I haven't looked into that personally. I'll have to look into that then, because... Does Venti swirl more than Kazuha? Doesn't Kazuha get 6 swirls, which translates to 12 swirls on cluster targets for his ult? Or is that wrong?
I have no clue.
I have no clue either. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really seen much in terms of Kazuha's personal damage. I do assume, but again, this could be wrong because I'm assuming. I haven't really looked at his personal damage calcs yet because I just haven't found the time to. But I assume that you'd still be building him full EM as a full EM and using him as a swirl bot. Because his ult should swirl 6 times, and Venti swirls 7 times, but that doubles if they're clustered targets. Which is why Venti gets so much swirl output.
Ooh, speaking of EM buffs, did you want to transition to that?
What's up? Yeah, let's talk EM buffs. So, like... Huh. All right, Winter Mornings. We'll look into that. I'll look into that and probably next podcast talk more about Kazuha EM versus damage. Yeah, we'll look into that. Even if you just look at his multipliers, his E plus plunge is 700% on a 6-second cooldown. Fair. That is very high. Okay, yeah, well, I'll look into that then. So maybe, I guess the problem is, though, if you don't run him EM, his A4 isn't really doing shit for your team, so it really is just a personal flat damage bot at that point.
Yeah, the question is whether the personal damage is worth losing the team damage.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because you're still getting swirl damage. Like, a level 90 Kazu with a full EM setup is going to be doing like 5 to 6k per swirl. And assuming that your ult swirls 12 times because there's multiple targets, and your double sack sword charge E swirls 4 times, like that's 5 to 6k per swirl, which is a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, EM buffs and how big they are for Sucrose.
Yeah, basically, like 1010 has a good video about this. Go look it up. He talks about the EM buffs for Venti. He goes into the math of that. So if you want to know more of the math on it and understand how big a deal it is, how big a deal it is that they actually did the insane thing and buffed Venti, because Venti got buffed. Full EM Venti at level 90 does like 5,000 to 6,000 damage per swirl, and on Electro-charged teams, he swirls 4 times per target. He swirls 4 times if there's more than 2 targets in his ult, and also gets to trigger Electro-charge on the Electro-charged team. So like EM Venti, as long as you're actually getting swirls off, which does mean it doesn't require you to actually actually get a proper infusion on his ult to make sure you're swirling properly. But assuming you are swirling, you are getting max swirls out of his ult, Venti is now better built as a full EM bot. I forget what the... 1010 goes into some details. In some situations, you go EM, EM, EM. Some you go EM, EM crit. Some you go EM, EM Anemo. It depends. Like you can go if you have like an R. I think he said if you have an R4 or 5 stringless, because you already get so much % damage bonus, you're best going EM, EM crit at that point if you have good crit substats. But of course, that's gonna depend a lot on yours. But of course, you gotta. What was I saying? It depends on your substats, because you need really good crit stats for it to be worth running crit over EM for him now. But yeah, it's the same. Yeah, Mole iOS says they have an 818 EM Venti that hits 6,200 per swirl. So like, same with, and the thing is like Sucrose does the exact same thing now. Sucrose also got really heavily buffed. Because Sucrose's problem before was that she could always do the big EM buff for her teammates, right?
But nothing.
But her personal damage is kind of shit.
Yeah.
Her personal damage was kind of shit on virtue of, you know, not having building full EM and having not very good multipliers to start with.
Right.
So there was always the question of like, you know, like in running Sucrose in a child Xiangling vape team, it's like, yes, she makes my Xiangling and child hit a lot harder if there's 2 targets I can swirl both of them. But she does no damage herself, so would it be better just to run Jingxiu instead for raw damage instead of buffing my Xiangling? Depends on your investment staggering, but it can be. But now Sucrose does like 5k plus per swirl on top of giving a fat EM buff to your team. Like I am half considering taking my Sucrose to level 90, because if you are like, you know, we've always talked about how really no unit's worth taking to 90. Level 80 out of 90 is Section 6 totally, but like no unit's worth taking to 90. Now, I think personally, the 3 units worth taking to, or 4 units worth taking to 90 are Venti, Sucrose, Kazuha. Not really Xiao or Jean. They don't swirl enough to be worth it. But Venti, Kazuha, Sucrose, and if you're running a 4 Thundering Fury Bennett, he's probably also worth taking to 90, because you're spamming out overloads once every second. because like the EM buffs basically made those 4 instances of transformative reactions really good damage now.
Yeah.
The level 90 scaling for the transformative reaction damage is worth it. So yeah, I have a level 90 Venti now. I have a level 90 Venti with like 520 EM, and he hits like 5k per swirl in his ult, and it's kind of dumb.
Oh, speaking of taking up units, do you want to tell him what you did with your Bennett?
Oh, he's C5 now.
Won't C6
Yep.
him, he's a coward.
Lol. Nope, I will not C6 him because I am a coward.
You are a
Can
coward.
I get heal, please?
I don't know.
Thank
I don't
you.
think cowards should get heals.
Lol. But they're the ones who need the heals the most. But yeah, and for those wondering about Electro units, the TLDR is it's still not really worth building EM on them.
Mm-hmm.
Because Electro units have the problem of who the fuck is the trigger still, you know?
Right, between Fischl and Beidou, which one's
between
hitting?
Fischl, Beidou. And like Lisa is the best aura applicator in the game. So like she's basically never trigger, as I understand it.
Right.
There might be a few like rotations where she is, but in general, Lisa's not gonna be trigger because she applies Electro so goddamn fast with her ult.
Right.
So like if you're running like a Lisa Bennett overload team, you'd be better off building a EM on Bennett instead. Speaking of which, like Bennett, so like EM Bennett with level 90 on 4 Thundering Fury. I've been messing with it in the Abyss and on the new events, and it's really strong.
Yeah.
It's basically just Bennett, Fischl, Beidou, and a flex. The flex is normally Jinx though, because now you get to double dip your EM into vaporizes and overloads, and also like my Bennett's hitting like 6k for an overload. It'd probably be closer to like 9 or 8k if I was level 90, because he's only level 70. But like you get the new EM scaling and level scaling on overloads, and you get EM on vapes, and you get to E every 1 second. So like it's pretty nutty. And then you get to run Fischl and Beidou, which is just an insane amount of sub DPS power. Fischl and Beidou might be the strongest like 2 units sub DPS output in the game that doesn't use reactions, just like base damage wise.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because then every overload is also proccing a Fischl Ascension 4 drop.
Right.
So for both of them, they have such high ratios, it's just better off running them full damage in EM. Even if you run like an Electro-charged team, and they're like randomly gonna be triggering reactions, it's still just better off to just run them as full damage because they have such high ratios.
I am
yeah.
not looking forward to trying to farm Thundering Fury.
Lol, yeah, I've been farming some up, and it's kind of the torturous. I mean, my TF set's not that bad. I've got like 2 good pieces.
I don't even have a Thundering Fury set.
Oh, you don't even have a full set? Lol.
Yeah, I do not.
The only problem with Overload Bennett is that like you need a full 4 set for Bennett for 4 Thundering Fury. You need a full 4 set for Thundering Fury, and you also ideally want 2 pieces for both Fischl and Beidou.
Yeah, I mean ideally, but
ideally you don't need to though. They just need raw damage.
Yeah, my shit. I think Beidou gets an EM and Noblesse, and then Fischl just gets.
Oh, you mean like a Wandering Troop or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, just random pieces.
Yeah. But like,
yeah, because you don't
just,
really want
just
EM on either of them.
It's just for
chance.
chance.
You just happen to get the set. Gotcha.
Yeah,
your troop set's just stacked.
This is my flower, 9% crit rate, 20% crit damage, 5% attack, and then I don't remember. Oh, my hat. Yes. The crit rate hat, 31% crit rate, obviously, and 20% crit damage, 10% ER, and 11% attack. So those 2 pieces are just really.
I see. Yeah,
good.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
So they go together. And...
Kunert over here with the stacked as fuck motherfucking Wandering Troop pieces and doesn't run Ganyu.
Yeah.
Cries.
Yeah, I don't have Ganyu. Sorry. and my R3 level 1 Amos bow.
Oh my god! And you don't play Ganyu.
Or should I say my three R1 Amos bows that are all level 1.
Christ. But yeah. Yeah, so Venti and Sucrose got a big buff. And Kazuha, honestly, if Kazuha, I don't like people were saying in the chat that Kazuha should be building full attack. If that's the case, then like that's even worse because he doesn't get the benefit as much from those swirl buffs like Venti and Sucrose do. Because like that probably makes the gap even smaller between the two, honestly. But yeah, Kazuha's E does have a very fat ratio to it. So who knows, maybe he is better off as an attack bot.
But
maybe he's better off as an attack bot and you just ignore the A4 bonus and instead just have him run Enabler with full damage output. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's still like the first week where this shit's gonna change.
Oh yeah,
next
still
week,
early.
So,
and like the reality too is that like a lot of calcs haven't necessarily happened yet because people are testing rotations right now.
Right.
People are like most Theorycraft. There are some people running DPS calcs and stuff, but most Theorycrafters are more concerned with like figuring out the rotations and like what teams do they work in right now. So we'll see.
So we talked about Melt Ganyu, Kazuha. We didn't talk about Bennett, Hutao, Kazuha.
I mean, I don't know how good it is, honestly. There's the issue with running Bennett with Hutao in general.
Yeah.
Like it works. The thing is, it works. Whether it's better than just running like Amp Tau, I don't know. I haven't seen calcs on it. Is it better than just running like instead of running Kazuha, just running a cryo unit and melting Hutao sometimes?
Right.
I'm not sure about that one. I know that he is considered better than Sucrose for a Diluc vape team.
Right.
But again, it's like how much better? Shrug. But slightly better, probably. Because you can't do the whole double A4 trick with him.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah, Kazuha, either in general, another big thing about Kazuha that people have been mentioning is that he's kind of like similar to like Alfredo. He's just a good general support. You can just stick him in teams.
Yeah.
Like he's just a generally good VV support. You can just stick him in teams and he's very flexible. What we're talking about right now are specific use cases where he's like for sure better than other characters. Because the problem is that with the EM buffs, Sucrose got a lot fucking better.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, Kazuha might be a slightly better Sucrose, but it might only be slightly because Sucrose got so much fucking better with the EM buffs. Level 90 Sucrose does a lot of damage now and gives a fat fucking buff to your team and can run Dragon Slayers.
So are you saying that level 90 Sucrose doesn't have sex? She
fucks. Pretty much. Like I said, I'm legit considering taking my Sucrose to level 90. Just so I can run like a 6k swirl like Sucrose carry on a taser team. Cause it's a lot of damage. Yeah, that's a big thing that Henzeric Q brought up is that a lot of people forget about including Dragon Slayers when comparing Kazuha to Sucrose.
Imagine.
Yes, Kazuha's gonna have more damage, but like, Sucrose gets Dragon Slayers and he doesn't, which is a big deal.
Imagine. They forgot about Dragon Slayers.
Imagine. But yeah.
Motherfuckers act like they forgot about Dragon Slayers.
Seems to be a question of whether your team wants EM or damage percentage. That's actually a good point. So like, we are so far only talking about reaction teams where both teams either want damage percentage or EM. Another use case where Kazuha is undoubtedly the best unit in the game for it is on mono element teams. He's just the best VV support for mono element teams.
Well, I mean, Jean can heal.
Well, okay, yeah, fair. Jean can heal, so if you need if we want to consolidate a healer as well, but like he does more
Don't you
damage.
be disrespecting my Gene.
Yeah, I get you.
Motherfuckers
like-
act like they forgot about Gene.
But I mean, like him being able to use his A4 buff for the full team's damage, like on like a PP team with like Klee, Pure Pyro, a PP team, like Klee, Xiangling, Bennett, Kazuha, is really good. Because every single unit's damage gets buffed by his A4. He swirls them as well for VV, and then he does good swirl damage himself. Like on PP he's good. On freeze teams he's good because you just swirl cryo and everyone gets the damage buff. And in terms of raw damage increase, he's gonna be better than Venti for that. But Venti has more utility, and honestly, I think the biggest issue with Kazuha is Venti still exists, and they literally just buffed Venti.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he's still just gonna be overshadowed by the fact that Venti exists. And Venti, like, 1010 put it best in his first impression video about Kazuha, that he thinks Kazuha is a very strong unit, a solid 4 out of 5. The problem is Venti's a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Like,
and if he was a 4-star, you know, we were talking about whether, you know, it'd be different, but Venti's a 5-star too.
Yep, pretty much.
So it's not like Kazuha's easier to get or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, is it just better to wait for a Venti rerun? Probably. They're both good, just random general VV supports you throw into a team. Venti has stronger teams. Like, Venti is part of Morgana, which is the strongest team in the game right now. And, like, if you look at the utility difference, Kazuha, like, when we were just talking about, like, right now, like, mono-element teams, Kazuha gives a damage bonus, Venti doesn't. Damage-wise, you can probably put them as about comparable for damage.
Right.
Kazuha has higher ratios, Venti's better with EM swirling anyway, and then on top of that, Venti has less field time than Kazuha, which is an important factor to consider for Kazuha. Yeah, his double charge E is his double tap E or his double E's with Sack Sword is really strong and really high ratios, but it takes up a lot more field time that you could be using on your carries instead.
Right.
So, like, it matters less in, like, swap teams, but in, like, carry teams, Venti just takes less field time. So, you know.
Imagine playing a carry team instead of a swap team, TBH. Oh my god.
I mean,
SMH my head.
I mean, like, whatever damage Kazuha does over Venti is probably made up for by Ganyu being able to do an extra charge shot when you're playing with Venti, you know? But yeah. And, like, you can also run Kazuha in a Morgana team. It's just not as good as Venti. Because, like, if you look at the utility difference, Kazuha gives you a damage buff. And Venti, if for argument's sake, we just say that damage is about equal because of all that stuff.
Right.
The only real difference is that Kazuha gives you a damage buff through his A4, and Venti gives you energy back. And energy back is probably more powerful.
Right.
Venti just gives a fuckload of energy to your team. And more importantly, Venti doesn't have to run a sack weapon.
So he can build more damage.
Exactly. He can build more damage. His best in slot weapon, his better than 5-star weapons is a 4-star weapon. Like, Stringless is better than 5-star weapons on Venti now because of the EM buffs.
Judge.
And on top of that, and the thing is, like, a big difference is that Venti has ER as a substat. So if you have just a few ER subs, he can build full EM. He doesn't need to build any ER because he refunds 15 of his own energy, so he only has a 45 cost ult from his A4 passive, and then he also has ER as a substat. Kazuha, on the other hand, pretty much has to run a sack sword.
Listen. I got the perfect example for you. So what you're saying is Kazuha is Liam Hemsworth, but it doesn't matter because Venti is Chris Hemsworth.
I don't know who those people are, but sure.
Somebody's gonna get my reference. Somebody's gonna get it, and I'm gonna feel validated. There's the Hemsworth brothers. Like Chris Hemsworth is the guy who plays Thor in the Marvel movies, and he has 3 brothers. Liam Hemsworth is pretty attractive, but he's not as famous. And then there's like a 3rd brother who like is kind of like the one left behind, but
yeah.
Yeah, like no, I don't even know what the third brother's name is because nobody cares.
Yep.
But
But yeah, it's just Venti. We've said this before. Even if Venti didn't do a whole shitload of damage, he'd still be one of the best supports in the game because of the fact that he VVs, he CCs, and he funds energy to your team.
damn,
Like,
Jinx just
even
started. Jinx just fucking started spitting some bars. He VVCCs.
VCCs.
Cause Venti VVCCs.
Venti VV, a CC, and dropping energy on me.
And drops his energy for his whole
Yep.
team. I feel
Drops
like
his
near
energy
rhymes
for
flow better
you and
than
me.
fucking.
Yeah, that's fair. Drops energy for you and me, cause I'm Venti. Yes.
God damn it.
But yeah, so I mean, and Tenten brings up a good point in his video about it too, where it's like that doesn't necessarily mean Kazuha's a bad unit. He's not. He's a very good, very strong unit. He's just kind of overshadowed by Venti.
Yeah, just
Of
like
course, it's still early.
Liam Hemsworth. He's a very good actor. He's just kind of overshadowed by Chris Hemsworth.
Yep. And again, it's
I'm gonna
still
double
early,
down.
so we'll see.
I'm gonna double down. My analogy makes sense.
LOL.
If you're watching this on YouTube, please leave me a comment that you liked my reference. My ego is feeling very small
Yep.
right now.
LOL. But yeah, like I should like with the like Venti's EM buffs were kind of nuts. I'm still kind of in disbelief that they literally buffed Venti. Because like in an Electro-charged team for Venti, right?
Right.
1010 does a bit of an analysis on this on his video about EM Venti, which I recommend everyone check out over on the YouTubes. 1010, just spelled out 1010. Just look for his video about the EM buffs on Venti. But in his particular case, with like I think it's like a 530 EM Venti with an instructor's proc on him, he is dealing based solely off of the reactions from swirling Electro, swirling Hydro, because Electro-charged keeps both auras on a target, so Venti swirls both of them. That's what makes like Electro-charged so strong on a swirl team. That's like part of the fundamental behind why Taser Sucrose is so strong. But basically you swirl the Hydro, you swirl the Electro, and you're also triggering Electro charges because you're swirling Hydro and Electro onto all the targets inside of Venti's ult. 1010's specific Venti is doing 25,000 damage a second in his ult.
Yeah.
Just from swirls. Like, not even including his actual damage. Just from swirls and Electro charge reactions.
Way too dank.
It's big. It's big, especially considering you just build him full fucking EM. Like, you don't have to worry about fishing for crit subs. You just build him EM. And, like, that specific Electro-charged team is also super free-to-play friendly because it's fucking Venti, Fischl, Beidou, and Barbara. Like, you run Fischl and Beidou, who we've already talked about being one of, if not the highest base DPS sub DPS pairs in the entire game. And then you just run Barbara to get a little Hydro in there, so you can have the Electro-charge swirling and everything. You just run Venti. Just everything dies. I run it in the Abyss. It's disgusting. You just have a big bowl of purple and blue and green, and everything fucking dies.
Oh. Anything else you want to say on the topic?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. Kazuha, it's still early. We'll see what happens, you know. We'll see what happens with Kazuha. I think the big thing is that I did not know that there was still not an agreement between Kazuha whether he should build EM or damage.
Yeah.
I figured EM was kind of a no-brainer because of his A4. But I will talk with some theory crafters about that, and I guess next podcast we do. Which hopefully will be in a few days, since now that I'm not training anymore, we can actually do these, like, before work podcasts. So hopefully there'll be a consensus in 3 or 4 days, and we can talk about it again in 3 or 4 days.
Cool.
But yeah, I'm not sure. I like I said, I assumed EM would be the way to go for him, but I haven't seen calcs. I don't know if it is actually better for him to run full damage or not, because his E ratio is really high. Like Kazuha's E ratio is really high, but completely like ignoring his A4 might be a mistake too. I don't know. You don't know how there is an argument Kazuha can't really main DPS with C6. It's not a matter of main DPS. It's a matter of, is his A4 buff and his swirl damage worth it versus building him full damage just for his tap E and like ult power for just his ratios. It's just more of a matter of which one gives us more damage, you know? Even as a support, it's not even talking main DPS. Just as a support, is he better off building damage or EM? But we will see. I will talk to peeps.
We will
see if there are calcs on it. Because if Kazu mains is thinking we should build him crit, then that's interesting because it's Kazu mains. But
I have no opinions right now because this is where I'd put my Kazuha if I had one.
I had one.
Here, come get a heal. Sag. I think I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm at like 50 pity. Maybe by the time fucking the banner's up, I'll have had enough rolls. I can get it. You know, I might have one right now. Let's just try it. Yeah. Well, right now on stream. Sag.
How cracked does Venti have to be for crit to overtake EM? Basically perfect. Basically near perfect rolls. Or near perfect, like, crit subs.
You almost had it. You gotta try harder than that. Don't let the game win. Just swipe. No, I'm good. Maybe if these podcast videos start pulling in a little bit of that moolah,
we can start looking into rolls with it.
No, I mean, honestly, I've thought about throwing up some like clip compilations and shit, and you know, I've talked to an editor, and I mean, it's just, he deserves it, but it's like $90 a video. And
yeah.
Like, damn.
And it's like, well, that would it even make that back?
Yeah, would it even make that back, dude? I mean, that's the question.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Heika said he'd be willing to do some stuff just to have something to do. Yeah. Talk to Heika.
Yeah. Oh, I'd hate to, cause like this guy's a friend, so I'd hate to be like, yeah. Dude, what's up? Price is $90. And then just like,
which really is not a bad rate for a video.
No, it's not. It's
just we have no idea if we'll even make that back.
He said to like to sit down and watch a 4-hour VOD and then edit the video together, and he like does the fun edits, and you know he's like very active editor.
That's
like
a good price.
That's a really good price. That is a fantastic price. I'm just like, Jesus, would they even get it? Because I mean, I've told you, like, I don't think I'm that funny. And
LOL.
I mean, I know you think I'm funny, but like also you're my friend, so you're gonna tell me I'm funny. But then again, you're the type of person that would tell me I wasn't funny if you didn't think I was funny. So I don't know. It's either way. 6 in the one, half a dozen in the other. But yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Someone in chat mentioned 4TF Kazuha, which, as I understand, is very fun way to play Kazuha. I have no idea if it's good or not.
Yeah, it's a Jeff like.
I mean, like he has a 4-second tap E, which is not bad.
Yeah.
Considering how big his tap E ratio is. Like
someone is the Jeff, and he's in chat. Yep,
someone. Well, I said someone mentioned it. Jeff didn't mention it, but obviously Jeff's the one testing it because Jeff is the Thundering Fury King.
He's the Thundering Fury Shrimp.
Thundering Fury Shrimp, indeed.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, I could. It's funny because I could actually get Kazuha because I have no fucking clue how this happened, but I have 27,000 primos, so I have 170 pulls lined up.
I mean, it's possible that somebody
I'm at
like
10 pity.
It's possibly somebody like primoed your account.
Possibly, it's either that or I got those or I pre-bought those because I do that sometimes.
That is also true.
It's entirely possible I just pre-bought and forgot I pre-bought with all the shit going on. Entirely possible I pre-bought 2,700 primos for some goddamn reason. Or 27,000, sorry, not 2,700. 27,000 primos.
Speaking of things you did and you don't know if you did them or don't know why you're doing them, I guess what's the one thing you never thought I'd do that I finally fucking did?
What?
I fucking did housing.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
I'm regretting not doing it this entire time because there's a thing I want, like both of Jean's housing things, the sets,
the little gift set things.
require like fucking level 9 shit.
Yep, pretty much.
And I'm like level 7 I think right now, and I'm just like, oh
Lol.
fuck.
I've just been farming. Yeah, I bought all of the gift sets. I just haven't done them yet because I'm just like, I don't feel like sitting down and crafting these and then talking to and then moving all of the characters into the world and then talking to all of them and doing all this shit.
Yeah, that's specifically what I'm doing at this point. Is I'm just like farming the companion sets.
Gotcha.
Of course, I did Noelle's first.
Of course.
Then I'm gonna go try to do Jean's, but Jean is very, very far from now, so I'll probably do some random other people.
Yep, I bought all the companion sets, so now all of my realm currency just goes to buying me fucking artifact EXP items and transient resins once a week.
Well, since we're almost halfway, I did want to do our sponsored segment for today because we have a sponsor today.
We do?
We do. We do.
Oh.
It's the fans.
Oh.
Thank you guys Thank you very much for like, you know, just being here, watching the video. Like I said, you know, 20k views, 17k views on the podcast. Last podcast was really good. I mean, I'm very surprised as how well that did, and thank you guys very much for that. And the guys who come in and follow and sub, and you know, this is still my job, so you know, I really do
appreciate guys.
Appreciate the support. It literally wouldn't happen unless you guys were here. So, you know, thank you. So.
Thank you.
OnlyFans? Yes, OnlyFans. No.
OnlyFans in the chat.
Okay. Since this got brought up organically. Apparently,
okay.
OnlyFans is going to start banning porn.
Really?
That is what I heard.
That sounds unlikely.
Like they don't want to be known as a porn site. They weren't originally a porn site. They just
became one.
Yeah, they just
kind of like how Tumblr originally wasn't supposed to be a porn site.
Right. Yeah, they just want to be a normal social media platform. They never wanted to be porn. They were like for artists and stuff who like, it was basically supposed to be Patreon. It was supposed to be a less shitty Patreon because, you know, there was like just the fact that Patreon has like really inconsistent whatever, and some people were mad about it. And I don't know the whole story. I just know at one point people were mad at Patreon. And it was basically just supposed to be a Patreon alternative, and then it just turned into a porn site.
Yeah. Huh.
Interesting. I don't know.
I feel like they're gonna lose all that revenue.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But
I think I forgot to mention earlier, since I did reference 1010's EM Venti video, I'll probably just put the link in the description.
Yeah, I was just assuming we would, honestly.
Yeah, but I just feel like I should mention that so people can look at it.
Yeah.
See, editing it would require me to know the timestamp.
Yeah.
So, probably just gonna drop a link in the description.
So I just, oh no!
Oh, did you fall?
Why do we fall,
no.
Master Bruce? So we can get back up again. Baby.
Oh no.
Oh, so.
God, you have so few like revive items.
Oh yeah, I don't ever make food.
I know,
dude, I get constant shit about this. Constant shit because I'll do the things.
I have one of every single revive food in the game, at least.
I fucking do the thing where they're like, you go in and you like this current event that you make it harder and whatever, and people are like, why don't you use food buffs? Oh, just use food buffs. Just heal with food. I'm like, I don't want to. It feels like cheating. Feels like cheating. I don't know. They're like,
the only time I use food buffs. The only time I used food buffs for that was the first time I cleared the final one, just because like it reached the point where it's a three boss rush, right?
Right.
So then, like, I'll be on the fucking like double tankies,
Right.
the final round, and then I'll just like get randomly one shot and be like, I don't want to fucking reset. I'm just reviving my Bennett. Fuck this.
Right.
Because I just didn't want to spend another 3 goddamn minutes like re-clearing back to the tankies again because I got one shot by the goddamn wind blades from that motherfucking wind tanky that because I was doing all modifiers but like 4 of them, so that means that he fires out like fucking 9 of those things and they stun lock you to death if you don't dodge them.
Yeah, you just use fucking Zhongli's. This is the one case where his
that's the one
stupid
case
long ass ult.
That's the one case where I was using Zhongli was specifically for the tankies just so I could ult through the fucking wind blades.
His shitty ass low DPS long animation ult actually works out.
It lasts exactly long enough to dodge all of them.
Yeah, my fucking thing went through the rock. God damn it.
Lol. If you pop his ult right as they like shing the blade into their sheath, you dodge the entire thing.
Yep. Right as they like clip it right into their belt, dude. I said the same thing too.
As soon as I hit a shing, I just press 4 and Q instantly.
Yep.
Because normally, I cleared the full thing because I wanted to do it with like the pyro and cryo debuffs as well.
Right.
Like the cryo and pyro damage debuff, so I couldn't run Ganyu or Hu Tao. So I was running 4 Thundering Fury Bennett. Because most of the damage in that team comes from Beidou and Fischl anyway.
Right.
But normally I'd run Jing Cho on that team, but I was like, nope, fuck these tankies. I'm running fucking Zhongli so I can ult through that goddamn wind blade.
Oh, fuck. I wanted to talk with you about so much stuff, and we just... Okay, I made my list too long. Noted.
Well, now we have a list for next podcast.
Yeah.
And now that we know that I can wake up early enough and be awake enough for this early, we can do it like twice a week, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Because, like, well, I wanted to talk to you about, like, E3 and shit, but I mean,
yeah, I didn't really pay much attention to the E3 stuff, honestly. I heard, like, Elden Ring got announced and stuff like that, but I've never been big about watching E3 stuff.
Yeah. Elden Ring exists, and it's coming out in 6 months. Holy shit.
Yep. Oh, boy.
Too bad we didn't get anything about fucking... Oh, my God. Dude, Take-Two had a fucking... guys who do GTA had a thing. Yeah. And, like, everyone was like, oh, Take-Two? We're going to get Grand Theft Auto 6, Grand Theft Auto 6, Grand Theft Auto 6, Bully 2, maybe? And then they literally just had, like, an hour-long podcast about, like, diversity in game development, which is a cool topic.
Yeah.
That I would rather see at GDC, not at E3. It didn't feel like the right place for it. You know, it's just...
Interesting.
And then I wanted to talk to you about, like, Monster Hunter Rise. They're adding in Kolv to Roth.
Oh wow, really?
You can't get her as a monstie, like as a pet monster, but she's gonna be in Kolv. I'm so glad that like people like Kolv Roth enough to like put her into new things. I was worried it was gonna be one of those monsters just like,
forever vaulted.
Yeah, but like no.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna play Rise again until PC, and even then I don't know if I'm gonna play Rise again.
Yeah.
I've been like, cause like now that I'm doing like 2 hours on screen, 2 hours off, it's just hard to play those kinds of grindy games.
Yeah. No,
like,
I mean,
it feels like a 2-hour session of Monster Hunter is not long enough, I guess.
I think there's problems with Rise, just beyond Rise being on Switch. Because I think people would deal with it. Yeah. But like when you look at the audience for, I mean, people are like dropping Rise to play fucking For You and shit. And
really?
Yeah.
So that says a lot.
Or like GU or something. So I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. For me, the Switch thing's a big thing too. I can't handle the controls. I can't handle the input latency. Like, especially as a Switch Axe main, just the input latency has been really bothering me with it.
Yeah, the same for me. I react based off of like reaction. I don't really plan, so having input latency kind of dulls my ability to react to things. But
yep.
Oh well.
Yep. Like, I noticed that my hunts were taking pretty long. Like, I probably averaged like 8-9 minute long hunts instead of like 6 minute long hunts.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that's just because I get hit too much because I just feel like I can't dodge properly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you would see it. There were some weird things where, like, you know, I would press the thing for the animation, and it was supposed to give me a counter, and then it would take the energy to do the counter, but then it wouldn't go off. So, which tells me that, like, it's a counter that has a ramp up time, which
it has
is
active
weird.
frames on initial.
It's weird.
That's something that's not too weird to me personally because I play a lot of Dark Souls and every parry in Dark Souls is like that.
Huh.
They have wind-up frames. In
Yeah,
fact,
that's why I just use the Cestus. That's why I use the Cestus.
It has the lowest startup frames, yeah.
The lowest possible startup frames.
Yep. Yeah, depending on the size of your parry gear, it would go up or down.
The size of your parry. My parry is fast and long.
fast and short. Fast and short versus long and like parrying with a Cestus is very low startup frames, very low active frames. Parrying with a parry shield, or parrying with a parry shield is like low-ish startup frames, but longer active frames. Parrying with a medium shield is a lot of startup frames, but a lot of parry frames.
So it actually parries for longer?
Yes, you have longer parry window.
Huh.
So medium shield parries in Dark Souls are more forgiving because you have longer active parry frames, but they have a longer startup.
Yeah, I just used the Cestus because it made the most sense. I didn't care if the parry window was short because I could put it out whenever I wanted to, so I knew I was going to get it. It's like, it just didn't matter.
I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think medium shields were like 9 wind-up frames and 13 parry frames or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a good amount of wind-up frames, but you have a pretty thick parry window.
Yeah, not sure. I'll be interested to see how they do stuff in Elden Ring, though. If it's just gonna be Dark Souls with a George R.R. Martin
with a horse.
Paint. Yeah, with a horse. Or
I was listening to the Slightly Something Else thing. Oh, they finally added Kaboom Ball combat. I was wondering about that.
Koa.
The new event. They added a new event today.
Oh.
It's the Kaboom Ball combat. It's the
tennis.
The tennis thing. I was wondering about that. I cleared literally everything in the Golden Apple Archipelago, and I was like, where is the Kaboom Ball combat? Said there was gonna be Kaboom Ball combat. Did they just forget about it?
Where's the kaboom?
Where's my tennis?
Supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Where's my Genshin tennis? But yeah, apparently they just added it, so I guess I'll look at that tonight after work or something.
Jinx and Tuner do kaboom ball tennis.
Lol.
Jinx and Tuner play Take Two, or It Takes Two when?
Oh god, I don't know if that's ever gonna happen, honestly.
Satch.
That seems like it'd be a hard thing to work in schedule-wise.
I don't know how long the game is. If it's not too long, I don't know. But...
yeah. I mean, it's possible we could try to work out, I guess because if we want to start doing these podcasts very frequently, on actual, Gremlin rotations.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I actually have to forge fucking Mystic Ore now. I haven't forged Mystic Ore in, fucking 3 weeks.
Why Mystic Ore?
Huh? I was saying because I didn't have any crystal ores to turn into them.
Ah.
So I haven't been forging Mystic Ores. But yeah, if we're doing that, then I'm not sure schedule-wise how much it'll be fitting, because I still want to be able to spend some of my, before work days hanging out with Jenny and shit, so...
Yeah.
So, we'll see, but hopefully we can at least get these podcasts going,
But Jinx, I love you.
I love you too, which is why we should do podcastings, twice a week.
Oh, fuck, man.
Yup.
Yeah, whoever clips this, or whoever timestamps this shit, just the last little bit, just random bullshit go.
Random bullshit go.
Timestamp 150. Random bullshit.
LOL.
Incoherent garbage.
Incoherent garbage.
Oh, fuck.
All right, I guess that's pretty much it for the podcast.
Yeah, dude, it was really good talking to you again. I missed this. It's been like 3 fucking weeks.
I got to ramble for a while about early impressions of Kazuha. Honestly, for Kazuha stuff, I just say go watch 1010's videos about it, because he does a good job covering this stuff for the most part. But, like, it's pretty much, he's a 4 out of 5. He's a good pull, but Venti's a 5 out of 5, so shrug.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just like, as fun as running the melt team, the Ganyu melt team looks for me, I'm not gonna pull for him because I have a Venti.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if he is better than Venti for specific comps, he's not better enough for me to just run him instead of Venti, you know?
Yeah. No, I want Kazuha just for my swap teams. Any unit that has low cooldown swap team potential, that's what I want.
Yep.
Because you never know when there's going to be more swap units that you can work in, and it's just fun having.
Yep.
The pieces.
And I will definitely have to talk to artisans and other peeps about whether people have looked at crit versus EM Kazuha or not. Because like all the calcs I've seen done are on EM Kazuha, so I kind of assume that those calcs had already happened, but I haven't double checked. I kind of assumed that everyone had already just agreed that he's an EM bot, but I don't know if that's actually the case or not. Now that apparently Kazu mains is saying it might not be the case, so shrug.
Fuck Kazu mains. We only care about Kaching mains.
Well, I mean, like, the thing is, like, the difference is that, like, I know the community in Kek mains.
Yeah.
So I know I can trust them because I know that they have a good process for verifying stuff. They're very rigorous with their testing. They do a lot of discussions. They don't say things with certainty unless they're certain. The problem with, like, even though it's Kazuha mains, so you expect them to be good, I don't know how good the theory crafting team at Kazu mains is because it's brand new.
Well, look, like there's the Noel mains. And they aren't really theory crafters. They're just a bunch of people who think that Noel is cute, you know?
Exactly. Like, we ran into a similar
I would
issue.
know. I'm in there.
Do you really like it?
We ran into similar issues with, like, when
Morty, no.
When,
I love it.
like, Hutao mains and Ganyu mains came out.
Hold on. You're being talked over by Rick and Morty.
I love money so much, Morty. Are you being sarcastic?
Ineffable, thank you for that 10, man.
Your only purpose in life is to buy and consume merchandise, and you did it. You went into a store, an actual honest-to-God store, and you bought something. You didn't ask questions.
Sometimes I regret that this clip is like
two minutes long.
the
bleeding jaws of capitalism and said, "Yes, Daddy, please." And I'm so proud of you.
So proud of
you. I only wish you could have bought more.
So proud of you.
I love buying things so much more.
Rick, are you?
Do you need to go to the hospital?
I love you, Morty. Give Grandpa a kiss. Give Grandpa a kiss. Lips if you want. Whatever you're comfortable with. Some cultures do that. That was sweet. Thank you. I love you.
You're my little
buddy. Okay.
LOL.
Let's watch some
it's like
cable.
So like there was just before we get back onto that, like just the topic of being the clip alone and whatever worth the money and shit. It's like I originally was gonna cut it down, but then I had a thought to myself. I'm like, look, somebody's paying $10. Fuck what everybody else thinks. They paid $10 at least.
Yep.
You know, they can get the whole damn Rick and Morty clip. Fuck it. So.
Yup. Makes sense.
But yeah,
like, we ran into this issue before with other mains where, like, the quality of theorycraft, like, there were good theory crafters in these servers, but it also kind of got they also, like, there was a lot of, like, shit to sift through because of the fact that there were so many, like, hardcore stands for the character, right?
Yeah.
And so, with, like, the idea of, like, a damaged Kazuha being better than EM Kazuha, I don't know if that's actually fully calculated out, or if that's just an assumption people are making from, like, trying him out and him feeling good with his high ratio E.
Right.
You know, I don't know if that's actually something that's been calced out to see, like, well, in a full team DPS calc, is it actually better for him to build damage and ignore his A4, or is it better for him to buff his teammates and still do good swirl damage?
Right.
We don't know if that's the case or not yet because, like, I don't know if it's been calculated out. And with a 700 plus rate, like 700% plus ratio tap E, he's gonna feel really good to build damage on. But, like, is that better than him doing 6K swirls?
Now, you know what? No, the real question I want to look into.
Shrug.
The real question I want to look into.
Yeah.
Is Did that? You couldn't see on my screen, but that green orb that Zhao grabs, like it just flew out of Zhongli's dick.
Yes, it did.
And he reached for it. Anyway.
Yes, he did.
The thing I want to know now is with this new EM sword, if this isn't the best in slot for Bennett. It has less attack.
I was thinking about that, yeah.
And I looked at it and said it has less attack, yes, but now it has a viable substat. EM is great on Bennett. And it also has that 20% attack buff, which, I mean, it's Bennett. He's giving you attack buff, but, like, it's making up a little bit of that whatever.
I mean, honestly,
it
being an EM sub, the only characters I could see really wanting to run it would be either Bennett or Kazuha. So.
Right. And so now I'm thinking that maybe the Sworn, whatever, Freedom Sworn, I think that's going to now be the best in slot for Bennett.
Gotcha.
I don't know if anybody's been talking about this yet, but this is just what I've been thinking.
It makes sense. If you're running a Bennett carry, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because Bennett carry is either running Bennett Melt, Bennett Vape Melt, or like TF Bennett. All of them like EM a lot.
So what I think...
All of them already run an EM Sans because Bennett ult.
Right. I think if I had the money to get it, I think for my money, I would run Kazuha with my Bennett, Rosaria, and Kaya. But I would throw that EM sword on Bennett.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
for sure.
I would throw, I don't know, fucking sack sword on Kazuha.
You probably have to run sack sword just to keep his ult up.
Yeah, so that's what I think, man. So I don't know.
That's another thing that makes me not want to pull for Kazuha. I'm just like, but I don't want to give up my sack sword.
True.
Am I gonna not run Jingqiu on an Abyss team?
Yeah, but do I even have a second full sack sword?
I have a second full sack sword, it's just not leveled up.
Apparently, I only have a level 2. I wonder if
R2?
Yeah, level 2, or I have an R5 and I have an R2. I thought I had but maybe I don't.
That's still a lot.
It's possible that I tossed them, which I don't know why I would have tossed them if I didn't have 2, but maybe I just seriously haven't gotten that many.
All right. To celebrate our coming back to a podcast.
Yes.
I'm sharing screen with you.
Yes.
I'm going to do a single 10 pull and see if I get Kazuha.
Hold on, wait, go. Let me hold on. I know we said no DMCM music, but I'm gonna put something up in the background.
Okay. I will do a single 10 pull and see if I get Kazuha. What is even my pity at right now? 6. Yeah, I'm at exactly 10 pity. Because last night I decided to just do a random 10 pull as well. Because I had 9 of these fucking fates sitting around anyway. Okay, we good? Let me know when we're good.
All right. God, it's being really slow because I'm streaming and you're streaming to me. Okay, go for it.
Lol. Okay. Ikuzo. Okay. No. Okay. We tried. That's all I'm doing. Oh, look at all the rust.
I put on the Halo theme.
Lol. Okay, I'm saving the rest for new characters now.
Yeah. Oh, Bennett.
Hey, a Bennett. I have a C9 Bennett now. LOL.
Fuck. That'd have been good. That'd have been good timing.
That would have been, but sadly, no. It's okay, though. That's as much as I'm willing to put into that. Actually, Paimons. I'm just curious how many of these fucking things I have. 230. So I have 40 pulls worth of fucking maskless star glitter. Lol. Well, I ain't using those. Although I should buy these.
Okay, roll those 5. Okay, don't. Save them.
Yeah, let's save them. Just because we know they're releasing new 4 stars as well, so
yeah,
I should probably save for the banners that have 2 new characters on them.
Yeah, if we're lucky, we'll have banners with 2 new characters.
Yeah. Oh shit, I am almost out of maskless Stardust though.
Yeah.
Oh. probably because I had been buying these every single month. So
Yeah, I'm not even really buying them anymore. I buy the money and that's about it. But
I thought that these fates would eventually because they say they're
Yeah.
discounted, right? So but they've been discounted since the game came out.
yeah,
Weird.
what the fuck?
Weird.
Or I thought like maybe your first 5 would be discounted, and then you'd be able to buy them like.
Right? Regularly?
Yeah. So take a
Holy
look at this
shit.
new weapon.
Look
Take
at
a
that. Do you see this?
Yeah.
And those that come across Leo tend to stay a while. So it is where many things come to settle.
What the
I
hell?
didn't realize I had that many.
Yeah.
I have 82 fucking acquaint faints, bro.
Here, look at the new weapon.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same.
New weapon.
Details.
But where are those who share the memory?
You
like-
click the magnifying glass on back. You papega.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's a type 46. It increases your damage for the character,
Where do you want
and then when you
if you'd like to see Lio's Taurus spots?
Oh, it triggers off of elemental reactions. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely a Bennett sword.
yeah, and so then when you do that, it increases the attack damage of everybody by 20%.
As well as also increases normal charge and plunging damage.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, this is a Bennett sword through and through. I can't think of anyone else other than Kazuha and Bennett who would use this.
Yeah. So this is my pick for like the new best in slot Bennett sword.
Yeah, for sure. The only other choice would maybe be Kaya, but like Kaya doesn't have a high melt.
Well,
doesn't
see,
have
here's
a
the
high
thing: is
melt
like
ratio.
Kaya can use. Oh shit, Razor Ninjas, what's up, man?
Thanks for the.
Coming with a raid
Right
of
as-
506.
Oh shit! Coming to a raid, right as I'm about to leave.
Thank you, man. Yeah, no. And then like no fucking Kaya can use Jade Cutter,
Jade Cutter.
well. So
Yeah, and he'd use it better. Jade
Yeah.
Cutter would be better for Kaya, regardless, because Kaya doesn't have a high melt ratio. The melt's just a bonus for him.
right. So
Yeah. So yeah, this is pretty much a Bennett. Yeah, let's buff Bennett.
yeah,
Let's buff Bennett.
yeah.
God, last patch. Let's buff Venti. This patch. Let's give Bennett a better 5-star weapon.
Yeah.
Lord.
So. Oh, if you agree with me, I'll keep saying that then, because that's been my.
Oh no,
opinion
yeah, I
since I saw
100% agree.
this.
I 100% agree. This is a Bennett sword through and through.
Cool.
I personally would not pull for this sword unless I had Bennett.
Yeah.
Unless I was running a Bennett carry.
Yeah. That's C6 Bennett, baby.
C6 Bennett. And the other one's Atlas.
Yeah, I know. It's a
Sag.
fucking stacked. And it's also got the fucking alley flash and shit. I mean, this is a
Shit.
good goddamn
Yeah.
weapon banner.
This is a good banner. what the
Dragon's
fuck?
Bane's really
And
fucking
Dragon's
good.
Bane. Ooh. Alley Hunter's not bad.
Sorry, alley flash. I'm sorry, man. Alley flash.
No, I was saying Alley Hunter's also not
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
The wine and song is total. If you only pulled wine and songs, then you just go baited hard. But
Yeah.
other than that, it's a good banner.
You accidentally got Freedom Sword. You don't want Kazuha. Who do you put on? Like I said, Bennett.
Bennett carry. That's a Bennett carry sword through and through.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Bennett. You can run him Melt Bennett, where you run double cryo plus Bennett. That one's a bit harder to pull off, right? Because you have to make sure you don't have a pyro aura overtake. But as long as you can keep the cryo aura up by being careful with your applications, Bennett gets to melt everything he does
Yeah.
with EM bonus from this. There's also the easier one to run, which is Bennett Vape Melts, where you run Bennett, Jingcho, Rose, and like Kaya, Rose, or Chongyun, any combination, 2 of those.
Right.
Which is easier because you don't have to worry about pyro overtaking because Jingcho takes care of that.
Right.
But Bennett Melt is stronger, where you run like Bennett, Kaya, Rose, and Sucrose. It's just harder to do right. And then you can run 4TF Bennett, which is my personal favorite way to run him right now.
Mhm.
I know Zajef is like the prodigal 4TF Bennett user. But for Thundering Fury Bennett with Fischl, Beidou, and Jingcho.
Yeah.
Fischl and Beidou do a shitload of damage because they do a shitload of base damage. Plus Jingcho equals Electro-charged, which means every time you hit an Electro-charged target with Bennett's E, you do a vape, and you do an overload, both getting buffed by EM, and then also you have a 1-second tap E because of 4TF. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I did want to say real quick, very much, thank you very much for the raid, Razor, dude. Really do appreciate it. Sorry, we're in like in the oh shit, Astro. Thank you for gifting 5 subs. What the fuck?
Oh, thank you.
Dude, congrats to Chad. Chad got a sub. But Razor,
Lol.
yeah, no, dude. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, we're just doing a podcast while Jinx had a free minute before work. So thank you very much, man. I think we're probably gonna end it before a raid because we kind of go off on like random tangents. Although honestly, like that, well, maybe we should keep it in there because that whole thing about the Bennett,
Yeah, I think it's important to keep it in there.
Freedom
We
Sworn
should
is
just
like
end
huge.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just end now because I gotta get ready for work. But
Okay. Well then,
All
when
right.
I get it to you, it would be basically 210.
210. Okay. Let's put that in. 210 end. Cool. All right. Well, for everyone in chats and everyone checking this out on YouTube, thank you so much for checking out this podcast. Now that I'm out of training and like doing normal stuff, we should be able to do this at least once, if not twice a week,
Yeah.
which would be nice. Talk about stuff. Apparently, we had way too long a list of subjects to talk about, so that's good. We have more stuff to talk about next time.
Yeah, I had a bunch of stuff about E3 and like shows, like shows we've been watching and shit, and what other games we've been
Yeah.
playing. Like, and it just didn't even make it there. So
Yep. So we got lots of other stuff to talk about. Next time, Genshin related stuff we're talking about is probably just gonna be looking more at Kazuha, seeing what newer testing results look like, because it's still early as shit. It's way too early to tell with the guy. But yeah. All
and
right.
hopefully I'll be able to get one, and then kind of
And have fun with your reverse melt team.
yeah, you know, I really want it.
I know.
Oh well. But
All right. But
appreciate
yeah,
you, dude.
I guess. Yep. Appreciate you. Bye.
Bye.